Hello, all. Welcome to the special session at the World Architecture Festival. Today, we are talking to Gayatri and Gauri from Gayatri and Namit Architects. Let's listen to their unique design perspectives and shortlisted projects featured at this festival. Hello, Gayatri and Gauri. Congratulations on this shortlist. What is this all about?
Yeah, just wanted to say that this project is based in Bangalore itself, and it was an interior project that we did for Bosch, the company that is just celebrated 100 years in India. And the architecture and the interiors were both done by us, Gayatri and Namit Architects. I think Gauri will talk a lot more about it.
So it was a very interesting project because we could kind of build on the brief. So the brief that was given to us was that they needed a few, formal learning spaces. But what we did with that was, create so much more for the client. So we had a lot of incidental spaces, which kind of, invites one to have many conversations, collaborations, learning, and sharing that happens. And a lot of the other spaces as well, which is our dining areas, the pantries, we can, as we keep visiting the facility, we see how it's being used in so many different ways. So that is really interesting because it actually allows the building to also evolve from the formal brief that is given to us.
Yeah, please.
I also wanted to add that, in this space, it's really the Boschlers who are already working and they are undergoing training. But what we intended to do here is to kind of get them to do a little more learning about our diverse country. And that we thought would be best done, through art and, art and installations across culture, across the whole project, including outdoor sculptures. So I think that was an great learning for us as well, because as we all know, we're all very modern and very English, and we tend not to know so much about our own cultures as deeply as we should.
Absolutely. And designing a learning space is always a challenge because there is a perceived concept about a learning space that it is like a classroom method. And how did you break that? And what inspired you to look it from a different perspective?
I think at our office at GNA, our concepts are very clear. We believe a lot in interaction with nature. We believe in having a lot of outdoor spaces and a lot of spaces in between the outdoor and the indoor. And I think that's the space that really makes people the happiest. So these are spaces that we really concentrated on and, let things happen where people are really brought out into these areas. What do you think?
Absolutely. I think that invisible, line between the outdoor and the indoor, that is something that we strongly kind of promote. And Bangalore has such fabulous weather where, we can afford to do this. So we have these large veranda spaces, and where we believe the minute one, steps out of these formal learning areas, there's so much more sharing that happens over here. So that is something that we really encourage. And just to add to the learning of, what India is, so that was part of the concept. And we worked with artists from different, areas, whether they were people working with art or sculpture, people with paper. There were so many different interesting mediums that we worked with. And all of us know, what the Vedas are, what the Upanishads are, chakras, but you don't know the deeper meaning of it. So when we put this out in each and every room, and that formed part of the concept, it was true learning because it makes one stop. You can actually, it's in such a simplified way that you actually read it and there's a better understanding of what India used to be.
Absolutely. And rightly you said about the air as well as light. How did you optimally utilize the design for air as well as light inside the space?
So we, this particular project is in a very busy location, but we made sure that we worked on a plan where, the service areas were towards the road, which kind of was like a buffer to the noise outside. Internally, we were very sure that we needed courtyard spaces and covered spaces, lounge areas where interaction could happen, where there was visual connect with the greenery and lush landscape. And at the same time, it created these informal spaces so that people could discuss freely without really feeling, restricted. For formal training areas, the spaces were there, but these were, I think, spaces where we believe more learning and more interaction happens.
And considering that, we were the architects as well for the project, it gave us that little flexibility of, thinking of the interiors well ahead and planning the spaces appropriately.
You also mentioned about incorporating the cultural symbols and that vibe. How did you manage to do that? What elements you brought into that design?
So it was a strong concept that was there from day one. And then, we know that Boschlers from across the country are going to be visiting this facility. Not to mention, that even people from abroad are going to come. And everybody is so curious about what India stands for. So when we knew that we had, 16 formal training rooms, we had so many meeting spaces, we knew that, and we had to take care of certain technical things like the acoustics and lighting and those sort of, the aspects. So we said, instead of just having, these acoustic panels, let's incorporate art on it. And instead of just taking some motifs and, just general art, we came up with this concept of recognizing and celebrating almost every state of India. So every room, seminar room, right from the name of that room to, the art that we have put out on the walls and certain elements which you recognize from that state, a certain statement, you kind of, so somebody from that place will immediately feel a sense of belonging and, you can relate to it. And somebody who's not, there's this vast plethora of learning that can happen over there. So it's besides the formal training that Bosch is giving, their people.
And there's also discussion that could happen from people from different states discussing, say, what the, snake boat race is all about, or what is, the Basava of Karnataka all about.
What was the major challenge, biggest challenge in that you really got, a post at a place where you, while implementing this project or while designing this project? There were anything like
I think in the interior we didn't really feel any challenge as such, except that we just had to find these artists. We were looking for artists. It's not easy really because you have to go looking for them. We found artists who even worked with some of the waste of Bosch. Bosch used to be Myco earlier, known for their spark plugs. I'm not sure whether you're aware of it, but especially in Bangalore, when you say Bosch, people say Myco, Bosch, So some of these parts were all used to make art. And of course, we couldn't show everything out here, but there was so much more that we packed into this interior project.
So use props like industrial waste or mechanical parts.
That's right.
Yes, that's wonderful. Can you also talk about the Jaguar project? How inspiring it was?
So Jaguar, as you know, is a multinational company, and it's, true blue Indian. And what we really wanted to do, Namit Verma, my partner, who, really conceptualized it, was looking to show the flight of, the Indian company. And with which, this form that was developed was like an eagle in flight. And there are, again, a lot of different layers that have been considered here. From the structure to it being a net zero building, to the interiors, bringing art into the interiors, customizing that art, and of course bringing a landscape into it. Do you want to talk about the levels?
Yeah. So it's very interesting because as one enters the building, you are actually climbing up a couple of floors. What I mean is you're driving up a couple of floors. And when you enter, you're entering into the corporate office, into this huge atrium where we are celebrating water because
Which is at the second floor level.
yeah, almost the third floor level. And because of what Jaguar stands for, they work with, toilet fittings, fixtures, and it's all about water. And one really doesn't realize that this whole building is sitting on a factory where, they actually manufacture certain parts. And you have this really interesting waterfall that we have that kind of comes down to greet one as you enter the facility. And we have this triple-heighted atrium which brings in beautiful, natural light at, most times of the day. And we, in this project too, collaborated with artists. We came up with the concept of the Panchamahabhutas, which were depicted in a very contemporary way. And Jaguar is a company which is deeply rooted in Indian culture and, Indian values and ethos. So we really wanted to celebrate that in a different way. So it was a fabulous journey. We have been working with Jaguar for, it's probably the third decade now. So, it's really been very interesting. We know them very well. So, it was very easy to work on this project. And the structure itself is quite an engineering marvel because we have each floor plates kind of shifts almost, by 8 meters, and which is not an easy thing to do. But that really gave the form, and it gave, that thing of a bird in flight, and which also represents their company. So
That's fabulous. One thing which I wanted to ask you, or rather to get your view, okay, compared to other streams, professional streams, we find after academics, maybe we see gender diversity very strong in architecture in India. So we do coverages, women in manufacturing, women in construction, architecture, power. So we see architecture as a strong domain. What is the reason behind it? Why we see that diversity is very strong in architecture? Is it a better safe place to work?
I think it's about the left brain and the right brain. The left brain is supposed to be analytical and, a lot more which, looks at numbers, figures, mathematical. And that really is also male dominated is what I believe. But the right brain, which is, more creative and more sensitive, has a lot, it comes easier to women is what I believe. Of course, now it's a absolutely fair playing field where there is no gender as such, because everyone works with everyone and there is no questioning, whether the architect is male or female. It's just accepted. And I think that's a great place to be.
Yeah, you see that talent is being recognized when you go and pitch a client. There is no differentiation experience, right? It's basically talent based or
absolutely
content based, right?
Yeah.
That is fabulous.
Totally, because we do compete in a lot of competitions and things like that. And like I said, there is no male and female. It's like
it's a level playing field.
level playing field. So
Why this? We have an association, the Architects Association of India. We don't see much, women coming into the leadership positions of Architects Association, various chapters. Is there any inhibitions for that?
no, I don't think so. I think women have certain amount of priorities, I'd like to say, especially when starting a family, when your children are growing up and things like that. So those priorities really take center stage for a certain amount of time because you're also working. So once that is done, then there is certain amount of time to, give to other areas of, practice and profession. So I would say that I think that's why you don't see too many people.
But there are people out there.
Yeah.
Must get there, but it's very, compared to the other side of it.
Wait for the next decade.
Okay. One more aspect what I want to check with you is that in other industrial or other professional streams, we see technology transfers and strategic alliances with global players. But when it comes to architecture, we see global players prefer to come and represent themselves in India rather than creating a strategic alliance with an Indian counterpart. Okay, so our airports, our metro stations, our town smart cities are being managed by, and it is not very great experience from domestic perspective. What is your view about it?
I think that is something that we architects constantly talk about. It would be great if the government could actually make it a policy decision where foreign companies should come in, because you're learning a lot with technology advancements. But it would be great if there was always a local partner where this kind of transfer of education or transfer of information happens, and also the domestic market really grows with time as such. But now there seems to be a little bit of a imbalance where a lot of foreign architects are coming in and doing a lot of the projects.
Yeah, because government do make an India initiative in all areas, and they say bring your parts, assemble it here in India, and sell it. Don't bring it as a finished product. But there is a different treatment for service industry. There is something that
We hope that happens.
It's a grouse with all of us too, which we hope will gets set right down the line.
thank you so much for interacting with us, and all the best for whatever comes out from this competition.
Thank you.